Welcome to our Ultimate Spain 2026 Connectivity Explainer. So, you're planning a trip to Spain. You're probably dreaming about, incredible tapas in Madrid, checking out that stunning Barcelona architecture, or maybe even hiking the Camino de Santiago, right? But to actually navigate all of that smoothly, you're going to need data. Today, we're completely demystifying Spain's telecom landscape so you can step right off the plane, connected and totally stress-free. Let's dive in. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the Spanish roaming trap, then look at eSIMs versus physical SIMs, local networks versus aggregators, how to match your travel profile, and wrap up with some pro tips for connection. Okay, let's get into it. Section 1, the Spanish roaming trap. We definitely want to avoid those huge data fees. You know that massive contrast between the absolute thrill of landing in Spain and the absolute dread of the telecom charges that hit you right after? Yeah, it's brutal if you aren't prepared. Look at this number right here, $50. That's how much you could easily rack up in literally just a few days if you rely on your home carrier's standard international roaming. Just picture it, the sheer panic of desperately trying to load a map to some hidden tapas bar or pulling up a digital boarding pass, only to realize you just bought yourself a massive $50 roaming bill and your vacation has barely even started. Paying per megabyte, it's basically a financial trap. Moving on to Section 2, eSIMs versus physical SIMs. Let's talk about this digital transition. Right now, there's this invisible battle happening in travel tech. It's digital convenience going head-to-head with physical infrastructure. So what exactly is an eSIM anyway? Well, it's literally an embedded digital SIM built right into your phone's hardware. Instead of, fumbling around with a paperclip to swap out a tiny piece of plastic on your airplane tray table, you just scan a QR code or tap an app. It's like buying a digital unlimited bus pass before you even leave home. Standard roaming, on the other hand, that's like paying an exorbitant, crazy fee for every single stop on the road. No thanks. To put this into perspective, for roughly 10 gigabytes of data, your home roaming might charge you a staggering $100. Ouch. But if you switch to a digital aggregator eSIM, that cost plummets to around $15. And it gets better. If you go straight to a local Spanish prepaid plan, they call it a prepago over there, it drops even further to just $10. I mean, the financial reality here is pretty clear. The savings from ditching your home carrier are just undeniable. But here's the ultimate choice you're going to have to make. On one side, we have global eSIM aggregators like Saily or Arello. They offer instant QR setup, and you can buy them completely anonymously. The trade-off? You'll pay a slightly higher cost per gigabyte. Now, on the other side, local Spanish physical SIMs offer these massive data limits at a super cheap price. But, and this is a pretty big but, Spanish law mandates real name registration. To get these local plans, you literally have to present a physical passport for ID verification. So it really comes down to this ultimate battle, ultimate convenience versus sheer economic value. All right, Section 3, local networks versus aggregators. Let's look at who actually owns the infrastructure. Because whether you go digital or physical, your phone is ultimately connecting to real physical cell towers. Let's take a quick tour of who runs them. Spain's telecom landscape is dominated by the Big Four. Movistar is the historical state monopoly, and they boast the best rural reach. Seriously, if you're hiking the Camino de Santiago, that's the network you want for sure. Vodafone, they absolutely dominate the independent speed tests for 5G in urban centers like Madrid and Barcelona. Then you've got Orange, offering highly competitive 5G value along the Mediterranean coast. And finally, Yogo, which operates as a really solid budget option in high-density cities. Now, I really want you to notice this staggering number right here. 270 gigabytes. If you're willing to go into a store, show your passport, and buy a local Vodafone Spain prepago plan, you get 270 gigs of high-speed 5G data for just €15. That is, honestly, it's an absolutely unbelievable amount of data for the price. It completely dwarfs almost any global travel plan out there. But we need to talk about the technical trade-offs happening behind the scenes here. Local carriers route your data directly to the local Spanish internet gateway. What that means for you is the lowest possible latency, so basically zero lag. Global aggregators, though, they often route your traffic internationally through their partners in places like the UK or France. Now, this is a neat trick because it allows them to bypass those Spanish passport registration laws, giving you instant anonymity. But it does introduce higher latency. You might actually notice a slight delay on a WhatsApp video call or a bit of lag if you're doing some multiplayer gaming. Plus, aggregators usually won't give you a local Spanish phone number. Section 4. Match your travel profile. This is where we find your perfect plan. So, how do we make sense of all of this information? I want you to actively think about this right now. What kind of traveler are you, really? Are you just dropping into Barcelona for a quick, long weekend? Are you taking a 2-week family vacation? Or maybe you're a remote worker planning to post up in Valencia for a month. Identify your persona right now, because your ideal telecom strategy depends entirely on that answer. Let's walk through this crucial matrix together. If you're a short-term tourist staying, say, 3 to 7 days, you want minimal hassle, right? Saily is your top provider here. For under $10, you grab a 3 to 5 gigabyte eSIM plan that sets up instantly via an app, no passport required at all. Now, if you're a 2-week vacationer who might actually need to call a local restaurant for reservations, look into the Orange Holiday Europe plan via a reseller like eSIM Kit Store. For about $18, you get 20 gigabytes and a real local phone number. But if you're a digital nomad or a serious power user, you've got to bite the bullet, go into a Vodafone store, show your passport, and grab that massive 270 gigabyte local plan for €15. It's a no-brainer. So the whole thing is actually brilliantly summarized by this quote from our sources. Choosing an optimal connectivity solution requires a detailed evaluation of network infrastructure, regulatory policies, pricing models, and technical performance. Basically, it all boils down to balancing legal ID requirements with your personal data appetite and technical needs. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation, but there's absolutely a perfect fit for you. And finally, Section 5, Pro Tips for Connection. Let's make sure you stay online seamlessly. I've got some essential warnings to help keep you connected on the ground. First up, a massive red flag. 30 to 50%. That is the insane retail markup trap you're going to face if you buy a physical SIM card at those little kiosks in major airports like Madrid or Barcelona. They completely prey on the convenience factor. Listen, if you really want a physical SIM, just take the metro into the city center and visit a proper carrier store. You'll save yourself a substantial amount of cash. Actually, scratch that. There is one really cool insider exception. If you're landing at Madrid Barajas Terminal 4 and you absolutely, positively cannot wait to get into the city to get connected, look for the Consigna store. They actually sell the native Orange prepaid tours plan at standard, normal city store pricing. It's a super rare find at an airport, so keep an eye out for it. Now, if you're going the digital route, here are your rapid-fire setup steps to knock out before you even leave home. Number 1. Verify with your home carrier that your phone is actually unlocked. If it's locked to your carrier, an international eSIM just won't work. Period. Number 2. Open your phone app right now and dial *#06#. If a super long eID number pops up, congrats, your hardware supports eSIMs. Number 3. Purchase your plan online and scan the QR code they email over to you. And number 4, dip into your settings and make sure you set the new eSIM as your default data line, just so you don't accidentally trigger your home carrier's roaming data. All right, here are a few final rapid-fire survival tips. While Spain has fantastic 5G, their high-speed train tunnels act like giant Faraday cages. You are going to lose signal. So download your Netflix movies beforehand. Same logic applies to inter-island ferries. Do yourself a favor and download those offline maps before you set sail. Oh, and if you're a privacy-focused remote worker, a provider called BitJoy actually accepts cryptocurrency for their long-term plans, which is pretty neat. And lastly, a super crucial warning. All Spanish plans include free EU roaming, but the caps are significantly lower. Remember that amazing 270 gigabyte Vodafone Spain plan? Yeah, it plummets to just 15 gigabytes the second you cross the border into France or Portugal. So definitely keep that in mind if you're doing a big multi-country tour. And that brings us to the end of this explainer. We've unpacked the hidden costs, dug into the tech, surveyed the local networks, and laid out the exact strategies to keep you online without breaking the bank. Now, the ball is totally in your court. Review your own travel style, weigh that convenience against the cost, and lock in your perfect plan. So I have to ask, which connection strategy is going to power your Spanish adventure? Think about it, get yourself connected, and enjoy absolutely every incredible moment of your trip. Thanks so much for joining us.